so no regret. Happy before we get another day to do it all again. Oh, we're throwing open all the curtains wide. Oh, not gonna miss a thing. Oh, nothing's promised to you in this life, but it's there for us to take. So live well, be bold, be brave. In the sun, you don't know what you got till it's gone. Oh, let in the sun, all of the best yet to come. Oh, let in the sun, don't know what you got till it's gone. Oh, let in the sun, all of the best yet to come. Oh, throwing open all the curtains wide. Oh, not gonna miss a thing. Oh, nothing's promised to you in this life, but it's there for us to take. So live well, be bold, be brave.
Welcome to the locker room. It is 3:03 on December 23rd, and we are here because Morgan Geyser is back in court. Okay, so today's my birthday, and I made my own birthday cake. See, right there, right there, right there. All right, so I'm dying to see what it looks like because I did everything from scratch. I mean, I made it start to finish, did it my own way. Never made a cake like this before, but I thought, hey, you're certified. You might as well do some sort of something or another. So anyway, I want to cut into it and see what it looks like. All right, so hold on. This is the dress my husband got me for Christmas, and really, truly, the camera does put on 10 pounds because I look like I'm about 200 pounds. All right, so here's my cake. There's two different kinds of chocolate cake with suspended peaches on the inside, and the chocolate is a cream cheese chocolate ganache. That is my between layers and my crumb coat, and the top of it is a peach buttercream drizzle that I intentionally put. I only put it on the top and let it run down the side. So I want to cut into it, see what it looks like on the inside. Oh. I'm not going to put the candle on the cake because it's got a little plastic thing. Well, I don't want that to fall over. Okay, so I got to make a wish. What came true? You're still here. Thank you. All right. That stinks. Candles stink. All right. So here we are. 2 different kinds of chocolate cake with peaches in the middle. And this is our chocolate ganache. The whole cake is covered in the chocolate. And then this is a cream cheese. Let's see what it tastes like. I don't think I can get a piece this big in my mouth. Mm. Forget the show. Let's eat cake. CJ, come here.
What? Oh, not much cake. Can I have some dessert now?
You gotta have all of it to have any of it. Then take your frosting. Did I do okay? You have the rest of it. I gotta make my video. Don't eat it in your bedroom. Rude. Of course. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know. Yesterday I had it so that, oh, that's not what I wanted. Yesterday it would let everything show over here, and today it's not letting it do it. I don't know why. That's pretty good. The peaches don't look like they're the right color, but that's because they've been baked. But they're delicious. They're not all moist and mushy. Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So let's get into this. Okay. She's back in court today. This is Dr. Todd Grande, and it says rehabilitated Slenderman attacker flees group home with trans friend Morgan Geyser analysis. And this is going to be about 15 minutes.
Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today I will analyze the case of Morgan Geyser. First, I'll look at the background of this case, move to the timeline of the crime, then offer my analysis. Morgan Geyser was born on May 16, 2002, and lived in Waukesha, Wisconsin. She was raised in an apartment on Big Bend Road. Morgan did not have a lot of friends, but she did have one close friend named Peyton Leutner. Later, both Morgan and Peyton became friends with another girl named Anissa Wire, who lived in the same apartment complex as Morgan. Now moving to the timeline of the crime. On May 31, 2014, a man named Greg Steinberg called 911 and reported that while he was riding his bicycle, he found an injured girl on the sidewalk in the area of Rivera Drive and Big Bend Road. The girl said to him, "Please help me. I've been stabbed." When emergency responders arrived, they identified the girl as Peyton Leutner. Peyton told them that Morgan Geyser had attacked her in a wooded area just east of Big Bend Road. Later, she also implicated Anissa Wire in this attack. After being taken to a hospital, it was discovered that Peyton had been stabbed 19 times. She came very close to dying. However, ultimately, Peyton survived. About 5 hours after the 911 call, the police found Morgan and Anissa about 5 miles away from the scene. In a bag they carried, it was a knife with a 5-inch blade. The police interviewed the girls. Their stories were pretty similar. Here is what they revealed during their interviews. Anissa had learned about a figure named Slenderman from a website that featured horror stories. Slenderman is a fictitious character who was created in 2009 as an internet meme. He is usually depicted as a very tall, thin man who wears a black suit and has no face. Slenderman terrorizes and stalks people using his incredibly long arms. In some of the narratives, He has tentacles in addition to or instead of arms. A primary activity of his involves leading children into the forest where they are never seen again. When he permits children to stay in their homes, he gives them a desire to kill and pressures them to be initiated into his innermost circle.
Have you ever seen citrus caviar? These are finger limes, and they're just one of the wild seasonal finds hitting Misfits Market right now. We also have a new mystery root vegetable. It's a mystery because you get a surprise each time you buy it. It helps farms move extra supply and keeps things interesting. Romanesco is back in season. The fractal veggie that tastes as good as it looks. Mild, nutty, and honestly, kinda mesmerizing.
Anissa realized that many people doubted the existence of Slenderman and was determined to
Okay.
prove the skeptics wrong. She introduced Morgan to these Slenderman stories, and Morgan developed an intense affinity for this character. Morgan told Anissa that they should become proxies of Slenderman, which they could accomplish by proving themselves worthy. The only way to do this was to murder a person. Anissa was surprised by the direction Morgan was going with all this, but also excited to have the opportunity to prove that Slenderman existed. The girls selected Peyton as their target. The plan was to murder Peyton, then walk to Slenderman's mansion, which the girls believed was in a forest about 200 miles north of where they lived. With their newfound status as proxies, they would have a good life with Slenderman. On May 30, 2014, the day before Peyton was found severely injured, all three girls planned a sleepover to celebrate Morgan's 12th birthday, which was 2 weeks earlier. They went roller skating before returning to Morgan's home at 9:30 p.m. Morgan and Anissa planned on killing Peyton while she was sleeping. However, this plan changed. The girls decided they would murder Peyton in a bathroom in nearby David's Park during the morning, now on May 31, 2014. Before the girls left for the park, Morgan grabbed a knife from her home. When they reached the bathroom in the park, Morgan gave Anissa the knife. Morgan then grabbed Peyton's arms, but Anissa was unable to follow through with the stabbing. Instead, she hit Peyton in the head and then made an excuse for striking her. All three girls left the bathroom and went for a walk in the woods. After starting a game of hide and seek, Morgan repeatedly stabbed Peyton with a knife. After this attack, Morgan and Anissa told Peyton they would leave and get help, but in reality, they had no intention of getting help. Morgan and Anissa walked to a Walmart store on Southwest Avenue. Peyton dragged herself out of the wooded area. This is when she was discovered by Greg. Morgan and Anissa were charged with attempted first-degree intentional homicide. They were to be tried as adults. Mental health clinicians diagnosed both girls with mental disorders. Morgan's diagnosis was schizophrenia and oppositional defiant disorder. Anissa was diagnosed with delusional disorder. Specifically, clinicians believe that she had an expression of this disorder called shared psychotic disorder, which is sometimes referred to as folie à deux. This condition involves a primary partner who is psychotic. This person can also be referred to as the inducer, the principal, or the dominant partner. At some point, this primary partner transmits the psychosis to a secondary partner, who can also be called the associate or the submissive partner. The secondary partner becomes psychotic as well, and the two partners share the same fixed false belief. Morgan was conceptualized as the primary partner, and Anissa was the secondary partner. So it was Morgan's schizophrenia that actually drove all the delusional behavior experienced by both girls. The defense attorneys for both Morgan and Anissa argued that the girls were legally insane. In the state of Wisconsin, there's a two-phase process when trying to prove that a defendant is legally insane. There's the guilt phase, that is, did the person actually commit the act? Then there is the insanity phase. Was the person criminally responsible? In 2017, Morgan pleaded guilty to attempted first-degree intentional homicide, and Anissa pleaded guilty to attempted second-degree intentional homicide. This established that they actually attacked Peyton, so the girls moved to the next phase. Morgan and Anissa were both found not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect. This did not mean they were free to go. Rather, they would be spending their time in a mental health facility instead of a prison. Morgan was sentenced to 40 years to life, and Anissa received a sentence of 25 years to life. In September 2021, Anissa was released. In 2024, Morgan petitioned the court looking to be released. In February 2025, she was accused of having violent communication with a man outside the facility. Furthermore, she read a book that contained themes of sexual sadism and murder. Mental health clinicians testified that Morgan's mental health symptoms had improved enough so that she could be released. She was no longer a safety risk. They said the allegations about communicating with the man and reading the inappropriate book did not change their opinion. In July 2025, the court approved a conditional release plan, which specified that Morgan would be sent to a group home. This was more difficult than it appeared. The first attempt to place her in a group home failed because it was located too close to Morgan's victim, Hayden. The second attempt failed because the residents of the group home did not want Morgan there, mostly because of the stabbing part. Eventually, Morgan was released and sent to a group home in Madison, Wisconsin. She was scheduled to be supervised until 2058. At this point, it appeared as though Morgan had learned from her mistakes. There would be no more violating the law. One thing was for certain, she would never cut off her monitoring bracelet and leave the group home. On November 22, 2025, Morgan cut off her monitoring bracelet and left the group home. She was last seen at 8:15 p.m. with a man. This man had been seen with her on prior occasions. On the next day, November 23, the police in Posen, Illinois, 165 miles southeast of Madison, Wisconsin, received a report about two people loitering at a truck stop. When they arrived, they found 23-year-old Morgan Geyser and a 43-year-old man named Chad Mecca. Chad identified as transgender. He was biologically male, but identified as a female. Morgan also identified as transgender at one point. They were both placed under arrest at 10:34 p.m. Morgan was held on an extradition warrant from Wisconsin. Chad was charged with criminal trespassing and obstructing identification. Evidently, he provided the police with an incorrect name. According to what Chad shared with the media, he and Morgan had met at a church. During their time communicating, Morgan complained to Chad that she was being mistreated. When Chad was denied formal visitation privileges at the group home, he snuck in multiple times to see Morgan. The duo discussed an escape plan that involved making their way to Nashville, Tennessee. After Morgan cut off her monitoring bracelet, she and Chad met in the parking lot of the church where they had originally met. They took a bus to Chicago and eventually made their way to Posen. This is where they ran out of money, and their magical journey came to an unceremonious, police-facilitated conclusion. Now moving to my analysis. Morgan Geyser had symptoms of psychosis starting in early childhood. For example, she experienced auditory and visual hallucinations. Morgan mentioned seeing unicorns, imaginary friends, ghosts, and colors, which would drift down walls. She claimed that she had conversations with fictional characters, including Slenderman and one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Morgan would regularly talk to herself and pretend that she was a cat. When she was in jail after the attack, she considered the ants, as in the insect, as pets. Morgan believed that Slenderman had extraordinary abilities which he could use to monitor her behavior. For example, he could read her mind and teleport. On occasion, she would see him in her dreams. Mental health clinicians who evaluated Morgan said that she had an enduring, predominant belief in the reality of Slenderman. Morgan would not yield to rational information and would never consider an alternate perspective. Based on Morgan's behavior, it is reasonable to believe that her diagnosis of schizophrenia is accurate. Over the course of several years, when Morgan was being treated in a secure facility, clinicians came to believe that her condition was improving. As she was getting close to being considered for conditional release, Morgan allegedly communicated with a man outside the facility and read a disturbing book. The clinicians did not consider these allegations to be significant at least not as far as Morgan's level of safety or her readiness to live in a group home. They believed she was a good candidate for this level of care. Not long after arriving at the group home, Morgan escaped. Not surprisingly, this has led to a lot of criticism of the clinicians, like they failed to properly assess Morgan. If she was ready to be in a group home, why did she run away? Why didn't the clinicians predict this behavior? The criticism is understandable, but there is a decent argument in favor of the clinicians. Mental health assessment was never designed to predict behavior, yet the criminal justice system repeatedly tries to force it into this role. Clinicians are the least effective when they are trying to use their knowledge of mental health in forensic settings. There is no way they can read a person's mind, which is what is required to accurately assess under those circumstances. Morgan may have said and done everything right when she was in the secure facility, which led the clinicians to believe that she had improved. Based on what they were observing, their conclusion may have been reasonable. The problem is they don't have the ability to observe enough. Again, there is no mind-reading capability. When evaluating someone motivated to deceive, predicting if they will comply with treatment and with the law is pretty much impossible. The only argument against the clinicians which carries weight, at least in my opinion, would be how they disregarded the two objective warning signs: having violent communication with the man outside the facility and reading the disturbing book. These were observable behaviors they could evaluate, and behaviors always speak louder than words. When weighing the totality of the circumstances, there is no reason to believe the clinicians were incompetent, or even that they made a mistake based on what they could observe. The only way to have a perfect record as a clinician in that job is to recommend that every client stay in custody, which is not feasible morally, ethically, or economically. Moving forward, however, I think that Morgan's escape attempt should weigh heavily in any decision about her release in the future. She has now demonstrated in a group home setting that she is not ready for freedom. Morgan still has dreams of running away. At first, she wanted to go to a Wisconsin forest to live in a mansion with Slenderman, who is trans-dimensional. Then she wanted to go to Nashville, Tennessee, to live with Chad, who is transgender. Slenderman was not a real man, whereas Chad's situation is a little different. He wishes he wasn't a real man. Either way, Morgan's choice in partners leaves a lot to be desired, with each selection more terrifying than the last. Those are my thoughts in the case of Morgan Geyser. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon.
Wow. Okay. That was the next video, getting ready to air it. Okay. So, I don't know. I'm all for giving somebody a second chance, but when I was in college studying psychology and social work, I learned that in a clinical setting, people can say whatever they want to the psychologist or social worker or whatever, whoever they're talking to, because that person gets to see them 30 minutes to an hour every week. They can be good those times. They can say all the right things. Oh, I don't feel that way anymore. I don't hear your voices anymore. Baloney. Anyway, they really have to rely on the input from the caregivers in the facility. And if the caregivers are there to earn a paycheck, they're not really watching what the persons that they're caring for are doing, especially if they're able to up and walk around and go eat by themselves and go outside and go potty and do all that stuff by themselves. The caregiver's not going to be, unless they act out, then they'll say, well, they're a good person and they just had that one little mistake. So, I mean, I don't know. Let's see what happens after she left the group home. Okay, new body cam, Slenderman poker escapes with man. Why did Morgan Geyser run? Okay. And then we got to give it our thumbs up.
I did something wrong. She didn't.
What did you
She
do
doesn't
wrong?
know what I did.
Okay, it's fine. I ain't.
Let me talk to you over here. Okay, I'll put it back.
What is it that you did wrong?
So that's body cam video of Morgan Geyser, the Slenderman stabber, and I'm going to play you all of the video in just a second. Thanks so much for checking out my show. I really appreciate it. Please click to subscribe. Slenderman stabbing suspect Morgan Geyser is back behind bars. You remember she was 12 years old when she stabbed another 12-year-old 19 times. It was a brutal attack. I'm going to give all the backstory in a minute. She's now 23. Officials say she cut off her ankle monitor and went on the run from her group home, making it to Chicago and taking off with a man. I'm going to talk to someone who actually knows Geyser and suspected that she left with a man. She will explain why and what she says should happen next. But first, let me play the body cam video from when she was found with the man in Chicago outside a truck stop.
I appreciate it.
No problem. I just want to make sure you guys are kept on place. You want to start. How old are you?
I'm 23.
23?
Yeah.
How old is he?
She's transgender. She's
How old is she? 23? Okay.
I don't have my ID, but
All right, well, give him your name and date of birth. We just got to make sure you're saying who you are and you say you are, okay? You're not missing stuff, okay?
right.
Thank you for calling.
Okay, what's your last name?
I don't know why I have to do
Because I don't believe you're 23. That's why. Okay? We got called here for a call. So, to be honest, I want to make sure that you're not missing. As long as you're not missing, you can go on your way. Are you missing from somewhere? Just give me your name and date of birth, and you can be on your way.
this. I'm 19.
Huh?
I'm 19.
19?
Yeah.
That's fine. You're still an adult. So,
Yeah, so what's your last name? No, what?
I don't want to give you my name.
okay, well, then we're going to arrest you. We're going to take you an ID. We're going to hold you an ID at the station. So, you don't want to obstruct an officer. Give me your name and date of birth. You're not wanted for murder, right?
Right.
Okay, then there shouldn't be any problem.
Okay, you're making it bigger.
What's your last name?
Reese.
How do you spell it?
I-E-S.
I-E-S?
No, G-R-I-E-S.
Okay. G-R-I-E-S. What's your first name?
Stephanie.
How do you spell it?
E-P-H-I-N-E.
E-P-H-I...
A-N-I-E, sorry.
A-N-I-E. Middle initial?
What's your last name?
I don't know.
You spell that?
Do you have a middle initial? Okay, what's your date of birth?
R-O-U.
April 16th, 2002.
B.
Okay.
Oh, Robertson. Okay.
And your last name is G-R-I-E-S? All right. 3014. I have a name and date of birth.
No, you don't. She couldn't even spell. She couldn't even spell the fake name she was trying to give. Jeez Louise. Because she said it was Stephanie and tried to spell Epiphany, and it didn't even, wow.
Last name George, Robert, Ida, Edward, Sam. First name Stephanie, Sam, Tom, Edward, Paul, Henry, Adam, Nora, Ida, Edward. Date of birth April 16, 2002. Female.
What you want to do over there?
Maybe do I check the photo ID for stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do.
Oh, we just got called for a sales call. Now you did something wrong, but just come back, no record on files, and that means you're lying to us about your name. Okay? So now that's obstructing. I'm going to give you one more chance before we're going to take you in custody and fingerprint you. Okay? So just be honest. It's not a big deal. You're making it a bigger deal.
So Stephanie,
Give me your real name. Okay? Because if he comes back, no record on file, also, which I hope he doesn't, because that means both of you are lying. I'm gonna take you both in for fingerprints. Okay? Don't make us do all that. We just want to send you on your way. No, you can't. You guys wanted for something? And why are you hiding your name? I don't understand.
So you didn't come back to anything either, even out of Wisconsin.
I just don't want my identity out.
Okay.
It's just personal preference.
Okay. You can have that preference, but we're going to have that preference of taking you in and fingerprinting you. Okay? That's what we're going to do.
Is there any way to avoid that?
Yeah, give us your right name.
just give us your real name and that's
We can
it.
go on our way. We don't want to mess with you. We don't want to take you in a fingerprint you. But if that's what I have to do, I have to make sure you don't want it for anything, no homicides or anything like that. That's it.
I can promise you
Okay.
that. And I know it's. I know
I don't
it's
know you and you don't
liability.
know me.
I know.
Okay.
You
So
just gotta identify
Give
who
your
you guys
name.
are. That's it.
make sure you ain't wanted for no warrants, and then you're
Okay.
good. Stephanie, one last chance.
Or if you guys have the last opportunity.
This is your last opportunity.
Okay, let's try this again.
I don't know what you're
What's
supposed
your what's your last name?
Please just let me go.
What'd you say?
Please, I didn't break the
Can we
law.
please let her go?
So
I didn't
You
break
did
the
by
law.
lying
you're
for the
breaking
officer.
And you guys are loitering.
statute of obstruction identification at this moment, which is a Class A misdemeanor. That's a arrestable offense. Therefore, you can be placed under arrest for that. Both of you, because you lied and you lied. You give me your real name.
And we got dispatched here because you guys are loitering in the back of the business. It's not like we
When there's
approached you
signs
guys.
posted, there's no loitering. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So it's not a big deal. What is your name? Don't make us arrest you and do all this extra stuff that we don't need to do.
We have other stuff to worry
I
about.
know. We got way more serious things to worry about than this. But we got called here. It ain't like we just walked up and started messing with you.
And not only that, but when we print you, it could take a day,
2 days.
2 days until your prints come back before we can. So you be in our custody until we can release you. If you want to
And
stay
you're-
all day, that's fine.
And your prints might come back before him. So then that means that he would still stay at the station and you might get released. You might as well just avoid all of that and tell us your real names.
Look, if you want to stay in a cell for 3 days, by all means, we'll go this route.
At this point, we're just done with the team.
Okay.
Put your hands on your back.
Please let her go.
Then
Please let her go.
give me your name.
I did something wrong. She didn't.
What did you
She
do?
doesn't know what I did.
Okay, it's fine. I ain't.
Let me talk to you over here. Okay, I'll leave it. I'll put it
What
back.
is it- what
Okay.
is it that you did?
Go.
I did something really wrong.
What?
What is that to you?
You can't be that serious. What was it? And what is your name? What's happening? We don't want problems with you, okay? We just need to ID you. That's it. What did you have wrong? What?
Okay.
She doesn't know my real name.
Okay. Well,
What?
give him your real name. Don't tell him.
What's your last name?
Why? So he says you just can't get information.
Okay, so it's Morgan.
Morgan.
And then your last name? G-U, what is it?
Geyser. I promise she did not know.
Geys.
ER.
And then what's your date of birth?
May 16th, 2002.
Okay. So Morgan is your first name, right?
Yes.
Geyser.
No.
Let me say goodbye, please.
Okay, we will.
I will never see her again.
Yeah, you will.
No, I will.
3014. Can you take a name and
If
date of
I
birth?
did something bad, let me say goodbye.
We will let you say goodbye, but just stand by it until we figure out what's happening. Okay?
Last name?
I'll let you say goodbye.
Here, Richard, can you just...
Yeah, no matter.
Last name, George, Edward, Young, Sam, Edward, Robert. First name, Mary, Ocean, Robert, George, Adam, Nora. Date of birth, May 16th, 2002.
She didn't know my name.
It's not letting me. I have low battery.
What is it?
May 16th, 2002, female.
Is that your real name? It didn't come back.
That's my real name.
What's your middle initial? E?
Trust me.
Is that your real birthday?
Yes, May 16th, 2002.
You got E as an Edward?
No.
Okay. Middle initial.
She said E, right?
Yeah, E.
3014. Can you try that again? Middle initial E, Edward.
I love you. You didn't know, I'm sorry.
Morgan E. Geyser.
Okay.
Go ahead and put your hand in.
You said I could say
I will
goodbye.
let you. You guys going to the same place. Okay?
Okay. I promise you didn't know.
Okay. You have Jake?
What?
You ate anything?
Yeah.
Is your ID in your purse? Honestly. We're gonna go through it.
It is.
Okay.
I know you will. It's not.
Okay. We're gonna go through it.
Milo, female, sir? Yeah, just go over there.
You promised I could say goodbye.
Yeah, you guys are going to the same station. You guys are going to the same place. Okay, we know you're not giving us your real information.
Yeah.
So why are they saying that there's nothing on record with that name?
It's me.
Seeing you have trouble with that car reminds me 2 weeks ago, my friend Henry and I and her husband went to a town, Winfield. I don't know my towns in Kansas, I'm telling you. We went to Winfield, and that day I had driven all the way an hour up to Hutchinson, and then we went an hour and a half to Winfield to pick up their daughter. and we went to the Goodwill and stuff like that. So while we were there, Bill, Henry's husband, stayed there and helped his son with some stuff. And Henry and Tonka and I went to the Goodwill. And we all ended up spending more money than we planned on it. But we had a good time because it was the first time Henry been able to go to the Goodwill since she broke her leg last fall. So we went and we had a blast at the Goodwill. When we come back, they had to disarm the button locker thingy for their car, because if you locked it on the inside, then you couldn't unlock it without the clicker on the outside. And a lot of times they just left that clicker in the car. So they had to have that thing disarmed. And when Henry and Tonka got out, and I was fixing to get out, but the car locked. It was crazy. I kept trying to pull the door handle. It wouldn't unlock. I kept trying to pull the thing up. It wouldn't unlock. There's a little lever on top of the door handle that you had to turn. And I'm like, I could not get out. I locked myself in the car. I was like, only on a Sunday. It was funny. Anyway, I guess you had to be there.
My fingerprints will pop up.
Your what?
My fingerprints will pop up.
Look awful?
Will pop up.
Oh, okay.
When you fingerprint me on.
Mm-hmm. And you're telling me that your information that you gave me will come back to those fingerprints?
Yes.
Okay. Three or 14. Can we please get a female search?
Okay, I'll put these back. Okay. What is your real information? Because here's the thing. Who is that to you? Who's that to you?
Best friend.
Okay, where are you guys from?
Charlie X-ray 37278.
Okay.
Charlie X-ray
Here's the thing.
37278.
Okay. We have to identify you. Okay, whether you agree or disagree with that, that just plays no factor into it, okay? The law is very clear. You have to provide your information. And I'm pretty sure you're a smart person, so you understand that, okay? Now, I ain't trying to have you in our station for 4 or 5 days, maybe even a week, until your prints come back.
I know.
Okay?
I know.
Unless that's what you want to do. So,
I know.
but you didn't give me your real information. I don't care about her right now because they're dealing with her. I'm dealing with you, okay?
I can't.
You can't give me your information?
Mm-mm.
Why? Why can't you give me your information? What's wrong with that?
I just can't. I just can't.
So he says he just can't give me his information. Oh, place your hands on your back. Interlock your fingers for me. Interlock them. Nope. There you go. There you go. Just like that. So it'll be this way. You want it to be this way. I'm gonna get your prints regardless. So you just did all that extra stuff and catch extra charges for nothing.
Can we say goodbye?
3014. Can you fix the name of the
All right. Do me a favor. Just relax. Take a couple breaths. Relax. All right.
It's cold.
I understand. Trust me. I know it's cold out here. Okay. So
Please say goodbye.
give me a minute. Spread your feet for me. Okay. You got anything on you you're not supposed to have? Any crack pipes? Anything?
First name Mary,
I have it chilling in my left pocket.
What is it?
Weed in
date of birth May
Okay. In this pocket?
I think so. That's the weed. It's
Okay.
legally bought.
Yeah.
THCA. Yeah, that's all I have.
Okay.
Only welcome to search. Can you please say goodbye to me?
Give me a second, okay? Right now you're in custody, okay? So therefore I'm gonna go through all your whatever you have in your pockets, okay? Nope. You guys are separate. Here, face away from me.
I remember back in the 80s, we used to draw pictures on the side of our jeans like that. My goodness.
There you go. Just like that. Yep. No needles, right? Any needles? Hey, talking to you. Any needles?
My backpack has my injections for my HRT.
Okay, what about, I'm talking about drugs. Any drug needles? And paraphernalia.
That's all I do. Just what you took out. And that's just.
Time for 014, Morgan E. Geyser, criminal record.
All right. Come over here with me. I'll get your stuff. We're at 12. We got 2 in custody.
Are you looking for a way to generate an income from the comfort of your own home? Whether you're missing out on precious
Chicago led to even more deeper passion for us to continue to do God's work here and to build this organization so that we can help fight hunger and give hope.
31 years later, the organization Food for Friends feeds thousands every year. Get the full story at kalov.com/positivepeople.
A pastor once said that there's a difference between being a peacekeeper and a peacemaker, which is what I think Paul's talking about in 1 Peter 3:11, where he says, turn away from evil and do good. Search for peace and work to maintain it. He said that peacekeepers tend to avoid conflict, thinking if I just leave it alone.
Just because of how awful it was, how young the perpetrators were. 12-year-old Morgan Geyser and her friend, 12-year-old Anissa Wire. They lured their classmate Peyton to a wooded area in Waukesha, Wisconsin after a sleepover. The girls got Peyton to lay down, pretending that they were playing hide and seek. And then Morgan Geyser stabbed her 19 times. Stabbed her all over her body, in the arms, legs, and torso. The girls then walked toward a forest where they said they believed Slenderman was in a mansion. The girls claimed they had orchestrated the entire attack to appease this fictional character, Slenderman. The victim was able to crawl out of the woods and had to have emergency surgery.
All right, we already heard that part. So now we're going to go over to WISN number 12 News, Channel 12 News, I guess. All right, so
this is new video of Mecca in the back of the squad car right before police released him out of custody. And tonight, the APC station in Madison reports a person identifying themselves as the person arrested with Geyser, calling their newsroom saying that they're leaving Madison with Geyser and that was the best way to keep her safe. Now, here's part of that phone call.
I did not find this out until mid-morning yesterday, already in Chicago.
Find out what?
He ran because of me.
Well, Mecca, who also goes by Charlie, says the pair met at a church and formed a strong friendship. Mecca says Geyser wanted to escape because she was worried the group home she was living at would not let them visit each other.
She sobbed. She's like, they'll take away our visitation, Charlie. Please, you, and you're my best friend. And, you know that before you showed up, I was ready to drink bleach and just all this stuff. And the thing of it is, she already made it clear if I didn't go with her or not, she was still going, and she was not going back to jail. And I know what that means. At the end of the day, I followed what I thought was right, and I stand by it.
Now, the police report says Mecca and Geyser were trying to make it to Nashville, Tennessee. Officers released Mecca with a citation notice. Mecca's court date is scheduled for January 15th.
Okay, so let me get this right. The guy, she thought that Mecca didn't know that she was in a group home because she had been previously incarcerated in a mental health facility for something she'd done before. But Mecca knew she was running away. So in order to try to keep her safe and get her back where she needed to be for her future, Mecca told them where they were going or where they were trying to go and when they were leaving. So that I don't know if Mecca told them exactly where they would stop and rest, where they would be caught. I don't know if Mecca was the one that called them in as loitering. Okay. It kind of sounds that way. But look, there's my thing right here. This is my channel. Please go over there and click like and subscribe. It's my birthday. I want to get 10,000 people before the end of the year. Please just wish me happy birthday on my thing, and it'll help boost my post out there further so more people can see it. All right. So anyway, so Mecca probably thought he or she was doing the right thing by letting law enforcement know where this runaway was going to be. Okay. So he gave the wrong name to the police so that he could be brought into custody. I'm guessing because he was released from custody. So I don't know his whole story. That's not why we're here. We're here today because of these three girls and what one of these two did, I'm presuming, because this looks like the one that got poked. All right, so it says SACHME. So I'm sure that's an acronym for something, but CCTV captured their final walk minutes before everything went wrong. Morgan Geyser shocking. Okay, I thought they were going in the morning to the park. Why would they be playing hide and seek in the middle of the night, early morning? I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Let's give them a thumbs up. Say thank you for letting us borrow your video.
Moment before the crime. 3 girls are seen together. Morgan Geyser, Anissa Wire, and their friend, Peyton Leutner. They are walking toward the forest, laughing, talking, looking like normal children, but this walk was not innocent. It was planned, every step.
Okay, wait a minute. CJ just turned 18, so this is how I know this, because when he was younger and when we moved here, we wanted to know what curfew was. How late could he be out with his friends? And if you're up to a certain age, you had to be home by 9 o'clock. And if you were up before you turned 18, you had to be home before 11 o'clock, especially on school night. The summertime, it was a little bit different. But in Arkansas, I don't think those were the same curfew rules. I think there was a different time zones. So there's different times in different places. But I don't think 2, 3 o'clock in the morning is any time zone for curfew. So I'm presuming whoever house they stayed at, the adults there did not know that they were out running around.
Premeditated. What happened next shook the entire country. Inside those woods, A line was crossed. A crime was committed that no one could believe. After it was over, the two girls vanished. But something unexpected happened. The girl they thought was dead survived. She walked until help found her, and later she told her story to the world.
Do you feel like you're a survivor?
Yeah, I shouldn't be alive. I really shouldn't after what happened.
For the first time, Peyton Leichner is talking about that day 5 years ago. 3 12-year-olds at a slumber party, and the next morning, a walk into the woods to play hide and seek.
Do you remember
See, they make it sound like it happened in the daylight.
leaving the park to go to the woods?
They just wanted to go on a walk, and I didn't think much of it. It's just a walk. It's in Waukesha. Like, what bad stuff happens in Waukesha, Wisconsin?
Peyton was stabbed 19 times and left for dead by her own friends.
When police finally arrested Morgan Geyser and questioned her in the investigation room, she calmly explained what they had done.
Go ballistic, go crazy, stab, 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 stab. Is she dead?
I don't know. She was taken to the hospital.
What? I was just wondering.
This is the story of Morgan Geyser, and this is how it began.
Experience the hit original series When Calls the Heart.
What a story!
On the morning of May 31, 2014, a 12-year-old girl emerged from a wooded area near a quiet bike trail in Waukesha, Wisconsin. She was bleeding heavily. Her clothes were soaked. She had been stabbed 19 times. Despite her injuries, she managed to flag down help. That girl was Peyton Leutner. What happened to her that morning would become one of the most disturbing juvenile crime cases in modern American history. Not because of how violent it was alone, but because of who committed it, why they said they did it, and how young everyone involved truly was. Peyton Leutner was an ordinary middle school student. She lived with her family in Waukesha, attended school regularly, and spent time with friends the way most 12-year-olds do, sleepovers, games, and weekend plans. There was nothing about her life that placed her in danger or suggested she was at risk. On the night before the attack, Peyton was invited to a sleepover to celebrate a classmate's birthday. It was meant to be simple and harmless, a normal childhood event. She trusted the people she was with. That trust nearly cost her life. The attack in the early hours of the morning, Peyton was led into the woods by two friends, Morgan Geyser and Anissa Weyer, both also 12 years old. What Peyton believed was a game turned into an ambush. She was stabbed repeatedly in her arms, legs, torso, and dangerously close to vital organs. The wounds were deep enough that doctors later said it was a miracle she survived. After the attack, Morgan and Anissa left her alone in the woods, bleeding and unable to stand. They did not call for help. They did not look back. Peyton, severely injured, crawled out of the woods toward a nearby path. A passing cyclist noticed her and immediately called emergency services. Paramedics rushed her to the hospital, where she underwent emergency surgery. She survived, but only narrowly. The idea that drove at what made this case unlike most others was not just the age of the attackers. It was the explanation they gave. Morgan Geyser later told investigators that the stabbing was meant as a sacrifice to a fictional character known as Slenderman. She believed that if they did not carry out the attack, the character would harm their families. To Morgan, Slenderman was not a story. He was real. That belief shaped everything that followed. Morgan Geyser was also 12 years old at the time of the attack. She struggled with severe mental health issues from a young age. Over time, she developed delusions that blurred the line between reality and fiction. Her belief in Slenderman was not casual or imaginative, it was absolute. Friends and teachers would later describe her as quiet and withdrawn. Inside her mind, however, she believed she was.
They found Melody Buzzard. It just popped up on my phone. The 9-year-old that went missing. It just popped up on my phone. Somebody on YouTube is posting that they found Melody Buzzard.
Acting to protect others. This belief did not come from one moment. It had been building for months. When police arrested Morgan Gazer and Anissa Weier later that day, the story quickly spread across the country.
Are you missing from somewhere?
After nearly 24 hours on the run, Slenderman stabbing assailant Morgan Geyser's escape coming to an end Sunday night. An employee called police concerned about 2 people sleeping in the cold at this truck stop off 148th Street.
Okay, what's your last name?
I don't know why I have to do this.
Initially, they were reluctant to give any type of identification, and then they gave them 2 names, but the names that they gave them came back with nothing, no information.
Police Chief William Alexander says that reluctance raised red flags.
You're not wanted for murder, right?
Right.
Okay, then there shouldn't be any problem.
Geyser eventually gave up her real name and told officers once they ran it, they'd know what she did. She claimed her friend was innocent.
I will never see her again.
Yeah, you will.
No, I won't.
Why?
If I did something bad, let me say goodbye.
We will let you say goodbye.
Geyser and 43-year-old Charlie, a trans woman whose government name is Chad Mecca, were both arrested. Charlie, who is charged with criminal trespassing and obstructing identification, spoke exclusively with WGN's Sean Lewis, saying the pair walked from Chicago to Posen after getting off the bus.
We didn't have a real plan. Just get as far away as we could. Just vanish.
Charlie says the pair met at church and became friends, and that Geyser shared her plan Saturday to escape from the group home in Madison, Wisconsin. According to an arrest report, Geyser told officers she was treated unfairly at the group home and was upset she no longer was allowed to see Charlie, who on several occasions snuck in by climbing through a window. Geyser told police she cut off her bracelet with scissors and planned to potentially head to Nashville, Tennessee.
I just wanted her to be safe and not go alone.
Sorry.
Back.
Initial questioning at the police station, investigators separated the 2 girls and began questioning them individually. What followed was unexpected, not because the girls denied involvement, but because of how openly they talked. Morgan Geyser admitted to stabbing Peyton. She described the attack in detail, explaining where she stabbed her and why she believed it was necessary.
Morgan handed me the knife, and then I started to count again. When I was 5 feet away, I said, now, go ballistic, go crazy, stab, 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 stab. The whole time, Peyton was screaming in agony. I didn't want to do this. I was afraid of what would happen if I did it. Morgan said, don't be afraid, I'm only a little kitty cat, and...
Excuse me, you're reading wrong. Put these on. Show me your book. I'm going to take a picture of it.
Jumped on top of Bella and stabbed her repeatedly.
And
Did she try to get up? Yeah, she tried to get up. She said that she couldn't see, she couldn't walk, and that she couldn't breathe.
Your parents know that you're here talking to me, okay? And I'm glad they're so glad that you're safe.
I did.
So did you guys talk about doing this beforehand?
Anissa told me we had to,
Why?
because she said that he'd kill our families.
Who's he?
A man. I didn't know him, but Anissa knew him.
And this is where the story takes another turn to a fictional character on the internet.
There's this website called the Creepypasta Wiki. It's full of like horror stories that are meant to purposely scare you. And there's one of them called Slenderman.
Who's Slenderman?
He's this tall, faceless man who preys on children. At his own will, he can like exploit these tendrils from his back and like strangle his victims. From what the Creepypasta Wiki said, he targets children most.
Anissa explained to me that to prove yourself worthy to Slender, you would have to kill somebody.
Morgan said, we have to kill Bella.
When we come back.
Did you feel bad? I just stabbed one of your best friends.
I thought about it, but then I decided that remorse will get me nowhere. It's easier to live without regrets.
She's cold-hearted. She is cold-hearted.
Is she dead?
I don't know. She was taken to the hospital.
What? I was just wondering.
It's
You're just going to get me arrested, isn't it?
The interrogations last for hours.
Think his office gets a little bit more comfortable here?
She said the act was done to appease Slenderman, a fictional character she believed was real and capable of harming their families if they failed him. Anissa Weier confirmed her involvement, stating that she helped plan the attack and participated in leading Peyton into the woods. Their statements were calm, detailed, and disturbingly matter-of-fact.
Okay, if Anissa knew of Slenderman before Morgan did, and Morgan didn't know about it until Anissa told her, why is Morgan the one that had to do what when Anissa was the one that tried to prove herself to Slenderman? It's not making a lot of sense.
Establishing the plan as investigators pieced together the interviews, a clear timeline emerged. The attack was not spontaneous. The girls had discussed killing Peyton for months. They chose her because she trusted them. The sleepover was used as an opportunity to get her alone without raising suspicion. Knives had been taken from home in advance. The location was selected deliberately. This planning element immediately elevated the seriousness of the case. Mental health becomes central. As questioning continued, it became clear that Morgan's understanding of reality was severely impaired. She spoke about Slenderman as if he were a living entity with expectations, rules, and consequences. Her fear of him was genuine. Her belief was fixed. Investigators recognized that this was not a typical juvenile crime. Psychiatric evaluations were ordered quickly, and mental health professionals...
How can he write with that pen when the pointer part ain't even out? He's got it sitting like this, writing on that paper. And then yeah, that's all staged. He's not writing nothing.
Were brought into the process early. Later that day, Morgan Geyser and Anissa Weier were formally charged. Both were charged as adults with attempted first-degree intentional homicide. The decision to charge them as adults reflected the severity of the attack, the level of planning involved, and the extent of the injuries Peyton suffered. Despite their age, the legal system treated the case with the seriousness of an attempted murder. Once the facts were established, the investigation stopped being about what happened in the woods and started becoming about how the justice system would respond to two children accused of nearly killing a friend. Once Morgan Geyser and Anissa Weier were formally charged, the case entered a phase that would stretch on for years, not because of delays or confusion, but because the legal questions involved were unusually complex. This was not simply a case about guilt or innocence. It was a case about mental illness, criminal responsibility, and what the justice system can and cannot do when violent acts are committed by children who do not fully understand reality. Charging two children as adults, both Morgan Geyser and Anissa Weier were charged as adults with attempted first-degree intentional homicide. This decision was based on several factors: the extreme violence of the attack, the number of stab wounds, the clear planning involved, and the fact that the victim survived only by chance. Charging juveniles as adults is rare, but Wisconsin law allows it when prosecutors believe the crime meets a certain threshold of severity. At this stage, the focus was still on accountability, not mental health outcomes. Mental health takes center stage. As the case progressed, psychiatric evaluations became unavoidable. Morgan Geyser was diagnosed with early-onset schizophrenia. Medical experts concluded that at the time of the attack, she was experiencing severe delusions and genuinely believed Slenderman was real. This diagnosis changed everything. Under Wisconsin law, a defendant who commits a crime while unable to understand reality or the wrongfulness of their actions may be found not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect, often referred to as. This does not mean the person is released. It means the court recognizes that punishment alone is not appropriate. Treatment and confinement become the focus instead. The NGRI decision in 2017, Morgan Geyser pleaded guilty but was found not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect. The court accepted that. She committed the act, she understood the physical act of stabbing, but she did not understand reality as it truly existed. As a result, Morgan was committed to the Winnebago Mental Health Institute, a secure psychiatric hospital in Wisconsin. Her commitment carried a maximum term of 40 years, equivalent to the prison sentence she would have faced if convicted. This was not a release. It was an indefinite confinement, life inside institutional care. For years, Morgan remained inside Winnebago. She received consistent psychiatric treatment, medication, and monitoring. Over time, doctors reported that her symptoms became more manageable, her delusions lessened, her behavior stabilized. Every year, the court reviewed her condition. Each time, the question was the same: is she safe to be in the community under supervision? For a long time, the answer was no. Conditional release, what it really means. In early 2025, after nearly a decade in confinement, a judge approved Morgan Geyser for conditional release. This decision was based on expert testimony from mental health professionals who stated that her condition had improved, she was compliant with treatment, and she could be managed under strict supervision. Conditional release is not freedom. It involves a structured living environment, constant supervision, mandatory treatment, and the ability for the state to revoke release immediately. Morgan was placed in a group home and required to wear a GPS ankle monitor at all times. That conditional release lasted only a short time. When Morgan removed her ankle monitor and left the group home in late 2025, it triggered an immediate legal response. From a legal standpoint, this act was not viewed as a new violent crime, but as a violation of release conditions, which is taken extremely seriously. The escape raised critical questions. Was the release decision premature? Were supervision measures sufficient? And did Morgan still pose a risk? The state moved quickly to revoke her conditional release and return her to secure institutional care. Motive in this case must be understood in two separate timeframes. In 2014, Morgan's motive was rooted entirely in delusion. She believed she was acting under threat from a fictional entity. There was no personal hatred toward Peyton Leutner. The act was not driven by anger, jealousy, or revenge. In 2025, the escape itself does not appear to have been driven by violence or intent to harm others. No new victims were involved. However, legally, intent does not erase consequence. Whether motivated by fear, confusion, or a desire for freedom, the escape violated court-ordered conditions, and that alone was enough to reset her legal status. Current case status. As of now, Morgan Geyser is back in custody. Her conditional release is under formal review. The court must decide whether she will remain confined indefinitely. The focus has shifted once again, not to punishment, but to public safety and long-term risk management, a legal reality. Cases like this sit at the intersection of law and medicine, where answers are rarely simple and outcomes are never perfect. When news broke that Morgan Geyser had escaped from supervised release in 2025, the reaction was immediate and intense. For many people, this case had never really ended. It had stayed in public memory for more than a decade, resurfacing whenever questions about juvenile crime, mental illness, or public safety were discussed. The escape reopened all of those conversations at once. Public reaction across social media and news platforms, reactions followed a familiar pattern. Some people expressed fear, asking how someone connected to such a violent case could be living outside a secure facility. Others questioned the systems meant to monitor conditional release and how a failure could occur at multiple levels. There was also a noticeable divide in how people spoke about Morgan herself. One side focused on the crime, the brutality of the 2014 attack, and the belief that release should never have been considered. Another side emphasized her mental illness and the years she spent under treatment, arguing that supervised reintegration is meant to be part of long-term care when doctors believe it is appropriate. What united most reactions, however, was frustration. Not just with Morgan's actions, but with the breakdown in oversight that allowed the escape to happen at all. Reaction from officials and institutions. State officials acknowledged the seriousness of the situation quickly. The escape triggered internal reviews, employee suspensions, and public statements about reassessing monitoring procedures. Lawmakers demanded answers about response delays, communication failures, and whether safeguards were strong enough to protect the public. This part of the reaction was less emotional and more procedural, but just as important, it shifted the conversation away from one individual and toward the systems responsible for supervision and accountability. The victim's family, for Peyton Leutner and her family, the escape brought the past rushing back. More than 10 years after the stabbing, Peyton has worked to rebuild her life. She survived an attack that should have killed her, endured years of recovery, and lived with the knowledge that her attackers were still part of an ongoing legal process. Her family released brief statements emphasizing relief that Morgan was found quickly and reiterating their concern for safety. They did not engage in public debate or speculation. Their response was measured, focused on closure, stability, and moving forward rather than reliving the trauma publicly. Why this case still resonates? This case continues to hold public attention because it sits in an uncomfortable space. It forces people to confront difficult truths, that children can commit extreme violence, that mental illness can distort reality completely, and that there are no perfect systems for balancing treatment with public safety. The escape did not introduce new violence, but it did reawaken unresolved fears and unanswered questions. Cases like this remind us that danger doesn't always look obvious. It doesn't always come from strangers. Sometimes it grows quietly through untreated mental health issues, isolation, or beliefs that go unnoticed until they escalate. For parents, educators, and caregivers, awareness starts with paying attention to drastic changes in behavior, persistent delusions, or intense fixations that begin to replace reality. These are not phases to ignore. They are signals that professional help may be needed. For communities, it's also a reminder that supervision systems must be taken seriously. Monitoring is only effective when alerts are acted on quickly and responsibility is clearly defined. And for individuals, the lesson is simple but important. If something feels wrong, it deserves attention, whether that means asking questions, seeking help, or pushing for accountability. Some cases never fully.
And let me put a post here. Just because somebody asks questions does not mean that they do not have a filter. Because the only way you're going to know the answer is to ask the question. If you don't know about something, ask the question. That you're not trying to hurt anybody's feelings in any way. And if asking a person a question does hurt their feelings, that's on them, not on you.
End. They evolve, resurface, and remind us that the consequences of violence, especially when combined with mental illness, can last for decades. Where the story stands now, Morgan Geyser is back in custody. The court is reassessing her future, and the system that once allowed conditional release is under scrutiny. But beyond legal decisions and public debate, one truth remains unchanged. A child was nearly killed. A family was forever altered. And a case that began in a quiet Wisconsin town continues to challenge how justice, treatment, and safety intersect.
As my son used to say, but did she die? All right, so next, Law and Crime Trials is the one that posted. Melody Buzzard, they're covering it right now. I'm not going to click on it because I don't agree with screen sniping. And I still got two more parts of this to go over. Okay. This one is just very short. And it's from Court TV.
Talk about that. And our 12 Days of Holiday Crimes continues with the focus on Scott Peterson. Beth Karras is going to join us live, and Luigi Mangioni's lawyers claim that Attorney General Pam Bondi as a conflict of interest. We'll talk about that as well. Busy morning. It's all next right here on Opening Statements. Welcome to Opening Statements. I'm Ted Rollins in for Julie Grant. It is Tuesday, December 23rd. We're inching closer to closing out the year of 2025. We're glad to have you along.
You say it's your birthday. My birthday too.
With us this morning, we got a little Karen Reed, Luigi Mangione, Scott Peterson, quite the lineup this morning. Normally we start this show every day with that daily docket because there's stuff going around there's nothing going on today. Why? Because it's a couple days before Christmas, except in the state of Wisconsin, where there's a huge hearing here for this woman, Morgan Geyser. Set to appear later this morning. This is the first appearance that she's had since her escape from that halfway house in Madison, Wisconsin. The state's looking to revoke her conditional release from a mental health facility. Before we get into what's going to happen at today's hearing, here is Court TV's Michael Ayala with more on Morgan Geyser.
I just want to let Ella and her family know I'm sorry. I never meant this to happen.
That is Morgan Geyser at her sentencing hearing after pleading guilty to a brutal stabbing that left her friend clinging to life. Geyser and another girl, Anissa Wire, stabbed fellow sixth grader Peyton Bella Lutner after a sleepover at Geyser's home. The girls claim they carried out the attack over their belief in a fictional internet horror character named Slenderman.
I believed that if I didn't go through with it, Slenderman would come and attack and kill myself, my friends, and my family.
Wire pleaded guilty to being a party to second-degree homicide, while Geyser pleaded guilty to attempted first-degree intentional homicide. Both girls were deemed not responsible for their actions because of mental illness and
See, that's like I was saying earlier. She's the one that knew of Slenderman. She was the one that was afraid of, her family being hurt if she didn't carry out this act by Slenderman, for Slenderman. But yet, she's the one that did everything. It doesn't make any sense. I'd like to get up there and ask them, why? Why? Explain this to me.
In order to serve their sentences at mental health facilities. At separate plea hearings, the girls described what happened as they led their friend into the Waukesha, Wisconsin woods on that spring day in 2014.
Morgan asked me whether or not she should do it, and I just wanted it to be over with, so I said, just go berserk, do what you have to do.
I came up from behind her and I jumped on her. I tackled her and I stabbed her.
Do you know how many times you did it?
19.
Their victim, 12-year-old Peyton Lutner, lay bleeding with her friends standing over her.
Anissa told her to lie down so she wouldn't lose blood so quickly and told her to be quiet, and we left.
Oh, just listening to what they did was horrible. Then, of course, Geyser ends up leaving that group home in Madison, Wisconsin last month. She's arrested along with her friend the next day near Chicago, and it was all caught on police body cam.
At this point, we're just done to 10. Okay.
Please let her go. Please let her go.
Then give me your name.
I did something wrong. She didn't.
What did you
She
do
doesn't know what I did.
Okay, that's fine.
Let me talk to you over here. Okay, I'll leave it. I'll put it back.
What is it that you did?
I did something really wrong.
And what is your name? What's happening? We don't want problems with you, okay? We just need to ID you. That's it. What did you have wrong? What?
She doesn't know my real name.
Okay. Well, give him your real name. Don't tell him.
What's your last name?
reading your iPad. So who says you just can't give me information?
Okay, so it's Morgan. And then your last name?
G-E-Y-S-E-R.
G-U, what is it?
G-E-Y-S-E-R. I promise she did not know.
G-E-Y-S.
E-R.
And then what's your date of birth?
May 16th, 2002.
Okay. So Morgan is your first name, right?
Yes.
G-E-Y-S-E-R?
Let me say goodbye, please.
Okay, we will.
I will never see her again.
Yeah, you will.
No, I won't.
3014. Can you take her name and date of
I
birth?
did something bad. Let me say goodbye.
Do not pay your next car insurance bill. Repeat, do not pay your bill yet.
So I found.
Yeah, well, she likely won't see her again. According to multiple reports, Geyser's attorneys submitted a filing saying they will not fight the state's effort to revoke her release privileges. So what does this mean? What's going to happen today? Let's talk about it with former prosecutor Rick Garundi and civil attorney Ben Chu. Good morning, gentlemen. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday. Richard, this is the work that went into getting her into that halfway house was extraordinary. Her attorneys, it was a collaborative effort, and poof, it just is blown out by her leaving. What is next for her? It's likely going back to the state hospital.
Yeah, unfortunately, she's in a chasm that is not unique to any state within the country, and that is this area between criminality and mental health issues. And unfortunately, nowhere has really addressed this effectively, and the prisons are filled with people who are mentally ill. With respect to her, I think she comes across as very capable of understanding, at least at this point in time, what she's doing, being deceptive, and still being a danger. So she's right in that spot where she's committed a horrific act. I'm not ultimately familiar with her medical records to date, but that she is still a threat. So you need to find that spot where she is safe from the public, but can get some of that treatment. So it starts going back to the hospital. Unfortunately, the hospital's mission is to get her out again.
And Ben, some people would think, well, why don't you just throw her in jail or a prison cell rather than having her go back to the hospital? Talk us through jurisdictionally why she's found herself in what Rich said was this unique position, sort of.
Good to be with you, Ted. I agree with Richard. I think clearly this woman both has serious mental illness, but also is quite capable. She was able to remove her ankle bracelet and escape from the group home and enlist a Confederate, really, an older man who helped her do so. So she's certainly capable of committing acts, and she committed a heinous act in stabbing her friend, which is a criminal act. But we simply don't incarcerate people who have this degree of mental unfitness. So she needs to go back to the institution, and she can't be in the group home anymore.
And then, Richard, what happens? This is you alluded to it. The goal of the institution is to rehabilitate and get the people out of the institution and into a halfway house and then eventually into society. But she's set herself way back, one would think.
One would think. This is a decision, however, now that kind of separates itself somewhat from a legal decision and becomes a medical decision. So it's going to be a decision who are made by doctors. And that, again, is part of the chasm, because I personally think that she is still a strong danger, and that there should be mental health facilities where there can be a determination that this person cannot be released for an extended period of time, as opposed to we can rehabilitate everybody. I don't know what determination was made here as to whether it was youthfulness or that she had been rehabilitated at some level. I think in Massachusetts now, there's maybe a 5-year area between when a person's brain is fully developed and when you're senile. I don't know what it is out in this jurisdiction, but it's going to be a medical decision more than a legal decision.
Senile, getting senile. Don't bring that up, Richard. We're getting closer to that. Ben, this is a case where she was so young. Her age was a huge factor, 12 years old. Had she been 17 when this happened, 16, she'd have been tried as an adult, and we wouldn't be talking about her because she'd be up at the Waupun State Prison in Wisconsin, likely.
Ted, that's a really great point. But I think now that she has committed this other act, having bamboozled the doctors and bamboozled a judge into allowing her to live in a group home, I think having been proven wrong, they need to be safe and do the safe thing, not only for her, but also for us in the public. So she needs to go back to that mental institution.
And today's hearing, Richard, sounds like everybody's signed off on this. This is a formality, likely that because even the defense isn't fighting it. They're saying, we get it. What do you expect to take place today?
I expect exactly what you said. It's going to be rubber stamped that she goes back. They're going to ask for time to investigate it, to get her medical workup, to get new testing done, that no permanent decisions or lengthy decisions be made today, and save it to fight for another day. Today is not a day for the defense to engage. All they can do is lose credibility if they attempt to.
Yeah. Again, 9:30 Eastern Time. Morgan Geyser will be in court, pretty much the only defendant in a courtroom today as we inch closer and closer to the end of the year. It is time for a commercial break. What's coming up? Well, this.
Okay. Next, we're going to go to Fox News 6 in Milwaukee, where Morgan Geyser does have her 8 minutes in court. And I'm serious. This is an 8-minute, 20-second video, and then I've got some things that arrived today from
and good morning. We also have a DHS representative on the line. We are here to discuss the petition for revocation for conditional release that was filed on November 25th. And in particular, Ms. Geyser's stated intention not to contest the petition for revocation of conditional release and waive the evidentiary hearing on same. Just as a matter of what I think is undisputed, Mr. Cotton, there's no dispute the petition to revoke was timely filed under the statutes. Is that right? All right. And by way of background, just to catch us up, Ms. Geyser was previously found not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect in October of 2017. In February of 2018, Judge Boren sentenced Ms. Geyser through an order of commitment for 40 years. On January 9th of 2025, Judge Boren deemed the conditional release was appropriate and entered an order that she be conditionally released. And while it took a while for the conditional release plan to be developed effectively, the actual conditional release plan was finalized in September of this year. And after certain events occurred, the DHS filed a petition to revoke Ms. Geyser's conditional release on November 25th of 2025, and that's what brings us here. In that petition, the DHS alleged that revocation of Ms. Geyser's conditional release is appropriate under WISTAT section 971.173E, and the state contends that both the conditions of Ms. Geyser's conditional release were violated, and that remaining on conditional release would pose a risk both to her own safety as well as the safety of the community. The allegations include.
So they're trying to tell the judge, we don't think she should be here. We think she should be in jail. And the jail saying, we don't think she should be here. She's not mentally able to be here. So the judge got to figure out which is which.
And I won't go through them all, that Ms. Geyser fled placement, cut off her GPS monitor, and committed other violations of the conditional release order. In support of their petition, the state has alleged, the DHS has alleged, that Ms. Geyser violated the rules for conditional release, and under the circumstances, her release would involve a continued heightened level of dangerousness if she remained on conditional relief, both to herself and for others. In my understanding now, based on Attorney Cotton's earlier correspondence, is that Ms. Geyser intends to waive any objection and will not be contesting the petition for conditional release. Is that right, Mr. Cotton?
Hey guys, did you know some drivers are ditching their car insurance and they're doing this instead? Now, the reason why you may be overpaying for car insurance is because a big chunk of your monthly payment isn't even for insurance. It's to pay bill collectors and administrative people. Crazy, right? But my friend showed me this cool little website that changes this around completely. It gives you the ability to pay for just your policy alone. So this website can find liability for as low as $29 a month.
Sorry. Sitting here watching this commercial like I was interested in it.
Okay, thank you. I just have a few questions for Ms. Geiser just to make sure she's making this decision freely, intelligently, and voluntarily. And Ms. Geiser, you've had a chance to review the DHS position for revocation of conditional release? Okay, and you've been able to review it with your counsel, and he's answered any questions you may have had about it? And Ms. Geiser, you understand you're entitled to have an evidentiary hearing on the DHS position to revoke your conditional release? And you understand if we had that hearing, it would be the state's burden of proof to show that the revocation of conditional release is appropriate. You understand that, ma'am? And you further understand that the burden of proof the state would have to face is to prove that by clear and convincing evidence. And your counsel, for you, waived the 30-day time limit for having that hearing on your behalf, but we currently have a hearing set for February 16th, 2026. You understand that, ma'am? And if we have that revocation hearing, you understand you would have the right to be represented by counsel, is that correct? You'd have the right to see and hear the evidence the state presents at that hearing, is that correct? You understand you'd be able to present evidences and witnesses on your own behalf, is that correct, ma'am? And you understand you'd also be able to cross-examine the state's witnesses, is that correct? All right, and you've been satisfied with the services of Mr. Cotton, is that correct? And earlier on December 16th, 2025, Attorney Cotton provided me with some correspondence indicating that you have elected not to contest the position to revoke your conditional release. And that's true, ma'am? And you are satisfied that you've had ample time to discuss the ramifications of waiving that hearing and the burden of proof the state would have to face if we had that hearing, is that correct? Okay. And your counsel is able to answer any questions you might have about the DHS petition for revocation of your conditional release. Is that right? And at this time, is it your decision to waive the hearing on the petition for revocation of conditional release? And you've decided not to contest the merits of the petition for revocation of conditional release. Is that right? And you understand that if you waive your right to a revocation hearing, ma'am, the court will revoke your conditional release and order you returned to inpatient commitment or other custody under Section 971.17. Okay, and the state will not have to prove any violations of the hearing, ma'am. You understand that? And you understand that revocation of your conditional release will result in your continued confinement under your NGI commitment, subject to further future review as provided by law. Is that correct? And again, you've had what you believe to be sufficient time to discuss this decision with Mr. Cotton. Is that right? And no one's promised you anything for waiving your right to contest the petition. Is that correct? And no one's threatened you to make you waive your right to contest the petition. Is that correct? And you're making this decision to waive the revocation hearing freely, intelligently, and voluntarily. Is that correct? Okay. And you understand, finally, by waiving that revocation hearing, you're giving up your right to contest the allegations in the state's request for revocation, correct? And knowing all these rights and consequences, do you knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily waive your right to a revocation hearing under WISTAT 971.17.3e?
I lost $50,000 because I didn't buy a domain name. My advice, head to...
Thank you, ma'am. Do you have any questions at all for me regarding your decision? Mr. Cotton, you've reviewed the petition. Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Cotton, you've reviewed the petition for revocation of conditional release and related documents that were filed by DHS? And you've had an opportunity to discuss the petition and related documents with your client? And are you satisfied she understands the state's burden, legal standards, and other ramifications of her decision not to contest the petition for revocation? Thank you. And you've heard your client indicate she wishes not to contest the state's petition, correct? And you've reviewed this waiver with your client, and you believe she understands the rights being waived and is competent to make this decision. Based on your discussions with your client, is it your belief that Ms. Geiser is making the decision not to contest the state's petition for revocation of her conditional release freely, intelligently, and voluntarily? Thank you. Ms. Nicolai, do you believe any additional colloquy is necessary?
No, thank you.
Based on my discussion with Ms. Geiser and her counsel, as well as my review of the relevant filings made by the DHS in connection with this petition to revoke conditional release and related filings, the court finds that Ms. Geiser has freely, intelligently, and voluntarily made the decision not to contest the DHS petition for revocation of conditional release and waives her right to a hearing on same. Accordingly, the court finds that the petition to revoke conditional release is meritorious, uncontested, and it is granted. The petition to revoke conditional release is granted, and Ms. Geiser is remanded into custody with directions to DHS to house her pursuant to the original commitment order that was in effect prior to the granting of conditional release by Judge Boren earlier this year. Anything else we need to do from any of the parties?
Judge, I do have the CR 276 that I can e-file.
Okay, and we will take care of that. Thank you. Mr. Cotton, anything on your end? Okay, thank you all. Have a good day. Good luck to you, Ms. Geiser.
So she's getting her ankle monitor back and going back to probably a different group home because that one probably wasn't good enough for her. If it was that easy for her to escape, then it wasn't good enough for her. So now let's see what came in the mail today. All right, I don't have them in here, but the charms. I have all these bags of charms that came in today so that I could finish the key rings that I was making for my granddaughters. And their mama will be here tomorrow to pick that up. Then I got this for my son-in-law. I don't know if it's safe to let him have it or not. This is, oh, you have to push this button right here. I'm afraid of it. Okay, and then he can saw little tree limbs, branches and stuff. More than likely my daughter will be using it, but it's for my son-in-law. So I'll have to get that wrapped in his. Oh, you do? You're not my son-in-law. You see, it has his name on it. See? All right. So then I got this box. I don't know why. It must have been one of them freebies from Temu. It says Thickens Hair, so I'll have to figure that one out. This is my friend Henry ordered it. Asked me to order it for her because she don't use Temu. But this is stuff that she wants her family to be able to know, like how to pay the bills and such like that after, because she's fighting. She's currently got stage 4. She's 4 years in remission from stage 4 appendix cancer, and they couldn't remove all the cancer, so she's undergoing chemo. But she has no new meds in 4 years. And then I got, I don't know how many of these I got. I thought they were cute. They're little Christmas ornament things that says, "Here's a few bucks for you, ho, ho, ho," and it's got 3 little deer on it. And that's not real. That's a piece of wood right there. But I guess you could wrap money around that. So there you go. I got 5 of these. I think it's because I got 5 grandchildren in Missouri that I can mail these to. And then this is to clean out your hairbrush. Because my friend Henry, she ordered it for herself because she hates hair being in a hairbrush. And she has hair again after she lost it from her chemo. Even though she's still doing chemo, her hair is growing back and she can't stand hair being in her hairbrush. And this is a hairbrush that we ordered for her daughter because her daughter has natural curly hair, and this comes with a cleaner. And what you do is she put the oil on her hair for her because she has really coarse black curly hair. So she put the oil on her hair, and then as she brushes her hair through the back of this, she'll turn the brush around, and the back of this will automatically put the curls in her hair to make them like longer curls rather than being just real tight up against her hair. That's the theory. And then, like I said, it came with the cleaner. So these things will go to my friend Henry. These will be, I'm thinking about getting them all gift cards for Christmas. And then I could slide the gift card down inside here and send each one of them a gift card like that. It's a cute little gift to go to Missouri. And then I got to get this wrapped for my son-in-law. And the other items I'll have to take to Henry when I take her Christmas for her kids over. So that's what came in the mail today. And I won't be going live tomorrow. I might go live Christmas, I'm not sure. My husband won't be home until the 27th or 28th. And our moderator, our wonderful moderator, one of them, I don't know. I think H. Davis is busy with his family for Christmas. He's our other moderator. And Amanda Panda is our moderator. And she will be coming here for Christmas. She'll be up here tomorrow, and then she'll have to drive back to Arkansas on Christmas Day, sadly. But at least we're supposed to have good weather for it. So do something nice for someone, even if it's be the reason they smile today. And search for crime, and I will see you either Thursday or Friday. All right. Bye-bye. Love y'all.